Hey folks, this is immigration attorney Hassan Abdullah here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm preparing this video to discuss national interest waivers. Now the firm that I'm working at and I myself, we've been successful in handling national interest waiver cases. These are difficult cases and they require the applicant to fit a very precise mold. Now, although we've been successful in national interest waiver cases, we've also had to turn down quite a few people who've contacted us inquiring about this type of visa, this type of waiver, that is. A little bit of an overview of the basics. If you're applying for a green card through an employer, the employer will necessarily have to do something called a labor certification if it's a sponsoring employer that is hiring you in a position that requires a advanced degree or advanced degree equivalent, which would be a bachelor's plus 5 years experience or a master's degree. Now, or greater, master's or greater. So the labor certification is a process where they test the U.S. labor market. It's a time-intensive process, very meticulous. You can't make mistakes. And sometimes someone doesn't have an employer or they want a shortcut to the labor certification process because they think they might find a qualified U.S. worker for that particular type of position. So that's where the national interest waiver comes in. You can skip the labor certification by saying that you're going to serve a national interest with substantial intrinsic merit, and you're going to be able to serve that national interest substantially greater than other similar workers because of your outstanding background. That's basically a paraphrase of what the standard is for national interest waiver. So in this video, what I'm going to do is basically give kind of a free assessment, a mock assessment of a national interest waiver, the way I would do this, doing a consultation. I'm going to have to go through it fast. I mean, normally a consultation is not done this quickly, but I will just try to go through this process as quickly as possible, and I'm already running out of time on this video. So first question I would ask the person who is applying for the visa, for the waiver that is, interested in the waiver, is what will be your occupation or profession? And if someone tells me, well, I'm going to be, I don't know, I'm just going to be doing stuff here, and they're not really sure, that's a very important factor. You have to know what exactly you're going to do because you're trying to waive the labor certification for an occupation. So, for example, an answer to that question could be, well, I'm going to be a biomedical engineer, and I'm also going to be a CEO of that company that's developing these biomedical technology, this new advancement in state-of-the-art advancement in a specific type of medical device, and then that's fine. Okay, biomedical engineer slash CEO. What relevant education do you have? The person will say, well, I have a bachelor's degree, but I have 5 years of progressive experience. That's good. You're doing okay. But what if you say, well, I have a bachelor's only, or I don't have a bachelor's at all. I just have an associate's degree. Well, then you can still qualify if you have exceptional ability. You have to meet 3 out of the following criteria. You have to have any relevant degree, either that, or 10 years of experience, a professional license, a history of commanding a exceptionally high salary, membership in a professional association, and contributions or of recognition of contributions of achievements in the industry. So if you meet 3 out of those 6 criteria, you could still qualify for a national interest waiver as someone with exceptional ability. Now, another question is, describe your job duties. So you're going to have to be able to articulate a specific position that you're going to be working as. Okay, this is for the sake of taking care of the labor, because you do have to fill out a labor certification form. It's just that you're skipping the whole adjudication process. But you're going to have to fill out that form and give details of your job. So you have to articulate something. You can't be so vague. So another question I'm going to ask is, what is the national interest? Okay, what national interest is your product going to serve? And let's just say the person says, well, I'm going to be here as a biomedical engineer, and we've discovered a new way to treat a specific medical condition that affects a certain percentage of the population across the nation. There you go. That's a very classic, typical, prototypical example of a national interest that has intrinsic merit, especially if it will alleviate a lot of suffering. Now, next question I'm going to ask, and again, I want to actually elaborate a little bit about this. It has to serve a national interest, which could either be the U.S. economy, business competitiveness, health, wages, or education, or even culture. It'll further cultural awareness in the United States. There are some other possible avenues you could argue that are national interest, of intrinsic merit. That's basically the concept. But those are just some examples. Another thing is, explain how you will, your personal unique qualifications, explain your ability to serve the national interest to a greater extent than the majority of others who work in your field. So you should be able to demonstrate a past history of achievement with some degree of influence on the field as a whole. So, for example, if you if you played a, well, if you have a unique set of skills or experience, that's not enough. I mean, because those are basically, that's what you put on the labor cert when you're applying for a green card. So working on innovative projects in the past, that's important, but by itself is also not going to qualify you for a national interest waiver. The key is to show that your personal involvement led to that innovation, or led to an extraordinary benefit that otherwise would not have happened if you were not involved in that in the past, in whatever project you had in mind that you worked on in the past that was innovative. So if you were a co-inventor, or you were the inventor of something that was commercialized, or created some kind of novel, unique, remarkable engineering solution to a problem, that qualifies. These are factors that show that you're having an impact in the field that is going to justify waiving the labor certification, because you're showing that because of this past benefit I've had, I'm going to also, there's going to be a prospective, there's a strong likelihood of a prospective benefit of my involvement on this project or whatever you're developing. So someone might tell me, well, you know, I'm working on this project and I'm the one, I've patented products in the past and they've been commercialized. And you know, here's proof of that. So you can have articles, you can have you can have letters from experts in the field. In fact, it's very important to have letters from experts in the field to certify that you will have a prospective benefit in being in the United States. Things such as major awards are also useful. Publications that you've had, anything that shows that you made some kind of an impact in your profession. And you're likely to continue to do so to a degree greater than the typical person who would be a professional in your field. And of course, another important thing is you should have a list of people who are outstanding in their field to give recommendations so that they're qualified to give recommendations for the waiver. So that's a basic assessment. A biomedical engineer developing an innovative product, that would be a perfect example for a national interest waiver. So I hope this video has given you some idea of what qualifies for a national interest waiver. Thanks for watching, and bye.